What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of LaLiga Insiders. Christina Alexander and Rodrigo Faiz every Monday, every Thursday too. We're here every week to break it down for you, what's happening with the biggest teams, of course, in La Liga and the biggest stories so far. Here's the menu of the day so you can get a little bit of an idea of what to expect. Barcelona's injury problems. We just talked about this last week. Real Madrid's super form, of course, looking to keep that going this weekend. And what's new with our insiders? Rodrigo will tell us a little bit more, and we're going to have a little fun, as we always do, not only on La Liga Insiders, but of course with a little bit of extra time. But let's start with that. Not just start with bad news for everybody, or maybe good news for Real Madrid fans. We're not going to go that far, Rodri, but we were literally talking about the fact that Barcelona didn't have any problems with injuries. This was something that had been very common for them, and now they have started the season without these kind of, news, and now they have a list going. What's in this list that you see? Which one maybe worries Xavi more than any other?
Hi Chris, looks like they've been waiting for this international break to get those injuries. I mean, it looks so mental for Barca fans, like, okay, they were well without any problem right before the international break, and once they got with their national teams, all of them got injured. Looks like for me, I think Araujo and Koundé are two of the main players that are gonna, that Xavi is gonna struggle through, because we know that Xavi, the good thing of this season for Barca and for Xavi is that they have more than two players for each position. But I think that Araujo and Koundé, those are the most important ones. First of all, because Araujo, it looks like he's going even into surgery and he's gonna miss the World Cup, at least the time that we're recording this. For Xavi, he's so important that he's young, he's talented, and he has that power that none of his teammates have, because we always compare Eric Garcia to Araujo, and both are completely different. And what Eric Garcia has, Araujo doesn't have, and what Araujo have, Eric Garcia doesn't have. So that's why for me Araujo is really important, because the power, the air power that he has, with the headers, the backing defense is so important for Barca. It's something that Xavi is gonna miss a lot. And I think that Koundé, who is a specific role, which is a very special player for Xavi, is going to miss him a lot, because we all know that Koundé, he did really well back at Sevilla, and now he was trying to adapt a little bit, and he even sacrificed when we look back to the beginning of La Liga, when we all remember that due to the financial problems of Barca, he couldn't be able to register, and when he registered, it looks like, okay, now I'm gonna play, and now that he is playing, he breaks down. So that's why I think both are the ones that Xavi is gonna miss a lot, because of the defense, of the defensive roles that both have for Xavi, which are something really important.
Yeah, time-wise it's tough, not only club-wise, but of course what's literally just around the corner, which is the World Cup. And we think also, at least I'm assuming here, that the players kind of worry a little bit more about their World Cup participation than with the club, because right now they're using the club to be able to stay fit, but of course also trying to get those points. So that's something that's really tough as well for Barcelona, especially at this point. Do you think we could go as far as to say that it could affect their standings in La Liga before this World Cup break?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's an interesting debate in Spain. Well, in the whole world of football, when someone gets injured with the national team, like, okay, the club is always sad because they pay for the salary, they pay for transfers, and they pay for everything. But they are obligated to loan these players to national teams. And the player is like, okay, who should I accept? My mom's discussion or my dad's discussion?
Oh no!
Because they are in between two parts. Yeah, so that's why it's kind of struggling sometimes for the players, because they don't really know what to do. And in the case of Araujo, which is like, for me, the most important one, because looks like Koundé is reaching to Qatar World Cup without any problem. But for Araujo, it's going to be something strange, because first of all, he was going to make his debut in a World Cup, and we already know how important it is for Latin American players to be part of their national teams. So that's why he's struggling now. Like, okay, if I make a conservative treatment, I may be on time for Qatar. But on the other side, you have Xavi, you have Laporta saying that please recover 100% first of all, and then we will look for going for Qatar or whatever competition. It looks like if he finally goes on surgery, like for me at this time of this recording, looks like more effective for him. He's gonna miss this World Cup. It's gonna be really important for him because not only for the muscular issue that he has, but also for the mental and psychological thing, because he's going to miss one of the most important tournaments for Uruguay.
Yeah, and the toughest part about it, and you just described it perfectly, it looks like there's no right answer for him. Either he gets there for the World Cup, but there's also that risk that it could even worsen the injury and it'll take him even longer to come back. And of course, he wants to be at 100, 150%. And I hate this argument when you know your team loses and they tell you there's always next year, there's always the next World Cup. Araujo, don't worry, you're young. But I know it's easier said than done. At this moment, it's very easy for me to say, but of course we all want to see Araujo, of course, participate in the World Cup. All right, leaving a little bit of that bad news aside for some positive aspects, of course, in La Liga, all positives for Real Madrid. Not necessarily on the Karim Benzema side that we know he's trying to come back as well, but they've had such a positive streak too, and it's not surprising after that momentum that they got last season, but here it is. In all competitions, there's 89 games, 62 in La Liga, and look at those victories too. I mean, it's really impressive, and their winning percentage in all competitions is 71%, only 2% more that they have in La Liga. What makes this Real Madrid team so special, Rodri, to be able to get these stats?
First of all, that they are a block. I mean, and when they are a block, I say that they attack together and they defend together, which is something that historically Real Madrid never done. So that's why this is something that Carlo Ancelotti changed. And saying that name, Carlo Ancelotti, I think is the key name for me that changed everything. Because when Zidane, it was almost the same squad. So that's why when Ancelotti came in to Real Madrid bench again and he returned, I think everything changed, and the players were trusting again in his coach, and he was or he is in fact so close to the player and so comprehensive that it looks like the player, you know, doesn't really matter if you're talking about Benzema or talking about Courtois or whoever. It looks like any player could die for his coach, and this is something really important for Real Madrid, because this is something that I repeat it again, historically in the recent years, this is something that we never seen before. So that's why with Ancelotti everything changed for good, and this is something that even in the board, in Real Madrid board, Florentino Perez and all the board members that they have at the club, they are delighted by the way Ancelotti is treating the players, by the way he's treating, for example, Vinicius in special, because we all remember how Vinicius was when he made his debut for Real Madrid, and we all know how he's at the moment, which is one of the top 10 players worldwide, and it's, for example, the best example to say how good Ancelotti is for this club now at the moment, and to maybe to reflect how this squad is identified with this coach, which is something incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not like Carlo Ancelotti has to beg for it, right? But he still has to do that proper job to be able to get the confidence from this Real Madrid team, Rodri, because I'm sure you and a lot of fans were a little bit concerned about the fact that Casemiro up and left in just a few days when that rumor started, and he's not there, and a lot of people were questioning what was going to happen to this midfield. And now with Karim Benzema out, Carlo Ancelotti still seems to be able to get the results and not even scratching by, right? Still getting these positive results. So my question to you is, how long do you think they can keep this super form up?
Forever. Because if now that Benzema is injured, looks like you put Rodrigo as Benzema's replacement, or you put Hazard or whoever, and they work still, which is the good thing of this block called Real Madrid. And this is something that we should give credit to Carlo Ancelotti. I remember back to last year, 1 year ago, when Carlo Ancelotti was announced again as Real Madrid coach, some people here criticized Real Madrid by saying, why you give another chance to Ancelotti, because you sacked him back in 2015, 2016, when he was out of Real Madrid for the first time, because these board members were like, okay, we are gonna sack Carlo Ancelotti because he's the friend of the players. He's not hard enough to these guys, so that's why we're gonna replace him for Benitez. And then Benitez, did it really bad, and then is when Zidane came as Real Madrid coach. But now you give him a second chance, and then it's like, okay, give him this second chance, this second opportunity, and let him go, because he's going to prove that he's good enough still for Real Madrid, and he's good enough to try to adapt some young players to the elite level that Real Madrid needs. So that's why Rodrigo, that's why Camavinga, Tchouaméni, they look like they've been playing for Real Madrid for 10 years, and this is something incredible thanks to Carlo
Yeah,
Ancelotti.
Absolutely. When a lot of fans were like, who's Tchouaméni? Not to insult Tchouaméni, but it's true. A lot of people didn't know who he was when he signed for Real Madrid, and now they love him. It's like one more that they see now with this Real Madrid team, and that's what makes Carlo Ancelotti so special, knowing that he's not going to be like, well, I'm good, I won the league, I won the Champions League, I'm just going to sit back and relax now. No, au contraire, mes amis, because he's going to go even further now. Rodrigo said it. They could keep this up forever if they really want to. All right. From there, we're gonna stick to news around Europe, because this isn't pertaining necessarily to a player in La Liga. We're talking about Jude Bellingham. Tell us a little bit about why we have to talk about him today, Rodri.
The English player is going to be a massive one for the next summer window transfer, because we all know the potential that he has, and we all know what he's up to the Borussia Dortmund. He's now playing for Borussia Dortmund at the Bundesliga, and the thing is that we reported some weeks ago on ESPN that Real Madrid was chasing Jude Bellingham, and Real Madrid was monitoring his situation. They know that they get on really well with Borussia Dortmund board. We reported that when Real Madrid was trying to get Erling Haaland, that they had this advantage because Florentino Perez and the president of Borussia Dortmund, they are really close friends. They have a personal relationship, and they also have a really nice institutional relationship. And that's why Real Madrid is like, okay, we have a little bit advantage, but we know that big clubs, giants clubs, are gonna be behind Jude Bellingham, because he's the next big thing in Europe for the next summer window transfers. So that's why Real Madrid, they know that they have to be humble in this negotiation. They have to be really quiet. They don't want to leak any kind of details of this negotiation, and they are gonna work hard this season to try to get Jude Bellingham to Real Madrid, because they know that Bellingham is in love with Real Madrid, and he wants to play in Spain. So that's why they have to be really quiet and work hard in this next season to try to get him, because they know that big clubs, like for example Liverpool or some other Premier League club, are going to be behind him and try to convince him, as long as he is English, to try to bring it back to England. So let's see what happens, and let's see if he finally comes to Real Madrid.
So maybe this is where I can say, is football coming home, and not only talking about the World Cup, but Jude Bellingham as well in this case. I love these kind of players that are just...
They don't win either. So.
Oh man, Rodri coming in hot on a Monday too here on La Liga Insiders. But that's really interesting then, to kind of keep our eye on Jude Bellingham and not be really surprised when the summer window transfer finally comes around. But we're excited for it, as we always are. As we are to see Vinicius Junior. You mentioned him already, how special he has been with Carlo Ancelotti ever since his debut. This kind of player that was, all right, he's the future, he has potential, and now the future is actually here. He's making himself present, not only with Real Madrid, but worldwide, Rodri.
Yeah, Vinicius is present, is future. Vinicius is whatever he wants to be. So that's why Real Madrid is happy and they are delighted at the club, because I was told this morning by some sources that I have there that they are delighted by the way Vinicius behaves. They are delighted by the way Vinicius trains and by the way he plays. And we already know that he's top 10 players now at the moment worldwide, because he's one of the top 10 figures in this world of football. But they are really happy because they've seen him in the Brazil national team, and they are like, my God, he's good here in Madrid in La Liga, but he's also good when he plays with Neymar, with Rafinha, with Richarlison. So that's why they are like, my God, what if he could be a potential leader for Brazil in the next World Cup of Qatar? They do believe that because they've seen that here in Madrid. They've seen Vinicius growing up a lot in the past year and a half, and say that he's not the same shy guy that he came to Madrid. Now he grew up and now he's one of the top players in the locker room in Madrid. And now they realize that now he's a top leader in Brazil. So that's why they expect Vinicius to be one of the top leaders, potential top leaders in the next World Cup in Qatar in a couple of months, and they're going to be delighted by seeing this guy make this step ahead to say, I am here and I'm going to be.
Yeah, why not, right? Since his debut, I already talked about what that conversation was around him. There have been several tests for Vinicius, especially in the last month with Karim Benzema out. Vinicius, that was the question. Is he going to step up? And he really has for Real Madrid. And talking about last season as well, it's really exciting to see him now. Yeah.
And Chris, let me add to you one thing that I didn't mention, which is something really important, because we're talking about the growth of Vinicius in the sporting way, but we have to talk about the human side, because you remember the communique that he made a couple of weeks ago or 10 days ago before the Madrid derby, saying like he's never going to stop his fight against racism. And this is something that Real Madrid was like, my God, this is something that not all the players are ready to face. And this is something that says a lot about Vinicius, not only as a player, but as a person.
Yeah, absolutely. Not reacting to people that are looking exactly for that, a bad reaction, but handling it in just such a beautiful way that he has at such a young age. I totally agree, and I'm so glad you mentioned it, because it really just shows the kind of person he is, the kind of maturity level that he has reached to be able to handle those situations that I can't even imagine having to handle at that stage as well, or at any stage for that matter. All right, we're staying a little bit well, this has been the international break, right? Let's talk about Ghana a little bit and the Williams brothers, Rodri.
Yeah, imagine two brothers in the same national team playing for Ghana in this case. Everyone would wonder, like, well, is this possible real? But let me contextualize before, because everyone might wonder, like, why Iñaki Williams, Athletic de Bilbao striker, is playing for Ghana when he made his debut, his international debut, with the Spain national team. We all know that by then, it was like, I think back in 2008, he made his debut for Spain national team. But now the law has changed, and now if you're under 21, you can switch the national team, and now that's why Iñaki Williams made his debut this week with his family national team, Ghana in this case. And that's why I was trying to look some information related to Iñaki Williams when I got this info through one of my sources, saying that the intention of Ghana, of his president, the president of the Federation of Ghana, is get together, if he's able to, Iñaki Williams and his younger brother, Nico Williams. Nico made his debut for Spain this past weekend in Zaragoza against Switzerland, and Spain lost to Switzerland 1-2. And that's why the president of Ghana was like, hey, you made his debut, but maybe if you repeat what your brother did, I'm going to be here ready to take you back home with your family and to take you with Ghana and get together two players that now are playing together at Athletic Bilbao in La Liga. So that's why it could be something interesting. But to be honest, I think Nico Williams is going to be even better than Iñaki Williams. And we all know that some big clubs, big European clubs, are following him and monitoring his situation. So let's see if finally he stays like this and play for Ghana by the end of his career, or he stays like now and he keeps progressing as we all thought, as we all think that he's going to
progress. That's such an interesting storyline too, to be able to see two brothers and to be able to have that experience as well on not only club level but a national team. I mean, you never know. You never know. Football has given us so many unpredictable things, especially since the pandemic started. Why not keep things going and keep things interesting? Speaking of keeping things interesting, let's get to a little bit of extra time because we have to talk about Ronaldo, el fenómeno también. He does it also as well, you know, mixing a little bit of Spanish in there. That's what we're about here on LaLiga Insiders. But yeah, Ronaldo and this now reputation that he has with Cruzeiro and now with Valladolid, Rodri. I mean, he bought Valladolid in 2018. The team was in the second division. They came back to first. And now with Cruzeiro, he bought it in 2021. And they came back to the first division last week. I mean, the phenomenon just keeps surprising us now on a directorial level.
If I were honest, I would say, like, please, Ronaldo, focus just in one team, because this is something that Valladolid fans are going to be complaining about. Like, oh, you're watching back home Cruzeiro because it's the club you made your debut when you were a player. Please focus on us because you bought us before. But, you know, he's making a great project in Valladolid. I hope they invest a little bit because I think that they have, you know, a bright future for Valladolid. Finally, they stay at Primera División next season, but, you know, they're doing really good. Maybe they could hire us, Chris, to make, you know, something interesting for ESPN, Ronaldo, Cruzeiro, and we can travel back to Brazil.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been to Brazil. I'm down to cover such an interesting story too now on that side, and it's understandable why he wants to help the team that gave him that opportunity so many years ago, and of course get to the level that he did. I love it though, as long as he doesn't, you know, treat one team better or with more time than the other and keeps both fan bases happy, then I don't think anybody can complain, Rodri, right?
Yeah, no, you can make an exchange because Valladolid is very cold, very, very cold. You know, it snows in the winter, but this is something that in Brazil we couldn't find. So, you know, you can choose in between light beach and sun or the Valladolid.
Yeah, as well, and I mean, you can't really leave Spain. I mean, I miss Spain. I think it's very obvious, Rodri. I'm hoping I can visit around there soon because I love the food, and I think that's it. Thank you. That's a good place to end. Thinking about tapas and tinto de verano, and a little bit more, of course, as we all approach. Well, not all in Brazil, you know, approaching the summer, but we're approaching. We're approaching the winter. We have to find ways to keep ourselves warm and keep ourselves entertained as we always do in LaLiga Insiders. Rodri, thank you so much. Of course, a reminder to everybody, you can enjoy La Liga matches on ESPN Plus before the start of the World Cup. And you guys can follow Rodrigo Faiz at Rodrigo Faiz. Am I right? Keep it easy. All right, keeping it easy for everybody. And we keep it easy for you guys here on La Liga Insiders. That's it for us today. See you next time.